Hello everybody and welcome to Let's Play The Legend of Grimrock. We had a bit of a rough cut at the end of the last episode, so I'm going back through and putting these fake intros and outros on. So you're welcome, welcome to another episode, and yeah, enjoy. So these two you need to do specific stuff with to be able to hit, like cast spells, which I can show you with Arachnia, while these guys are going to be taking the brunt. Now if somebody attacks me from the side, say another snail is coming down this hallway here and I'm facing this way, it's not going to be Natalie and Chaos that get attacked, it's going to be Natalie and Liss, because it's kind of on my left there. I'm cocking my head right now as if you can see. So that's kind of how it works. If someone was behind me, it would be Natalie and Arachnia that get hit. And because these two are really weak, like squishy, that's going to be a big problem. So you have to be careful about getting ambushed in this game, because their health will go down very quickly. And also we need to find a way to get these guys to be able to do damage. Anyway, we can walk over, and indeed as we do, we'll automatically pick up that stuff we threw earlier, which is great. So there you go, Natalie's got 2 rocks. There's some loot in here too. We've got some trousers, which we can put on Natalie, because Chaos has already got some. We've also got a dagger, which we can put on Natalie. Don't forget she's a rogue, so now she can do more than just slap people around the face, which is great. And I thought I was going to say something about Liss there for a second, but apparently I wasn't. Okay, so, oh yeah, we got some boots here too, which we can put on Natalie. Like so. Oh yeah, I was going to say about the snail. So we killed the snail, and we also got a snail slice, which is a consumable, right-click to use. Turns out people can get hungry in this game too, and if they do, then you're going to have big problems. You regenerate health over time, but if you get too hungry, as demonstrated by this food bar, you won't regenerate health anymore if you start starving, and that's a big problem. So food, all actions you do consume food. The bar turns yellow. I'm not sure if this consumes food when you run around. The bar turns yellow when you're hungry, but there's no penalties at this stage. If you're starving, the bar turns red and you don't regain health or energy. So maintaining food is a big part of this game too. Minotaurs, which is technically what Chaos is, this char, he eats a lot more food than other characters do. Like running around, he uses up a lot more. So he's already reasonably hungry, while as you can see, Natalie's not quite so hungry, and these two at the back aren't quite so hungry either. It all depends how many actions you use on that player. So you need to be careful of that, and one way you can lose at this game, it's not like a roguelike in that you can permanently die, but you can theoretically lose on this game, or really struggle by not being careful with your food. Like, you get loads of food early, and then later on it becomes a big problem, and you're like, crap, why didn't I save so much? I'm going to take that torch. I'm a torch hoarder, what can I say? We're going to pull this lever, and we're going to be careful of more giant snails. Giant snails remind me of, like, Maple Stories so much. It's ridiculous. Okay, so now Liss has got 2 different throwing weapons, so instead I'm going to give the torch to Chaos here, so she can use her throwing knife and her shuriken. One in the left hand, one in the right hand, if that makes sense, because I'll right click in the left and then I'll right click in the right later during the fight. One turn. Ah, there we go. So again, we can put all of our stuff like so. We can throw this, throw this, throw this, and throw this. And now he's going to start running at me. And I can attack him with the knife and the mace, but I want to show you magic. So, Arachnia can cast magic. That's why her hands are glowing. That's because she's a mage class, which I gave her earlier. I'm going to upload a video later, by the way, of me creating these characters. Like, it's me on a character sheet for like 15 minutes, which would be more interesting for a later video. So, oh god, there's another snail there too. So I'm going to right click one of her hands, and you can see all these runes appear here. As you play through the game, I appreciate we're taking a beating here. As you play through the game, you will unlock, you'll find scrolls that have just got symbols on them, and they represent how to cast spells. I already know what some of the spells are because I've played the game before, and the first spell, most basic spell, fire spell, that I already know and have the skill to use is fire, because I, on the character sheet, made sure this character was like a fire mage. So what I'm going to do is click the top left rune here, which represents fire, none of the others, there's no fancy combinations here, and then I'm going to click this blue orb here to cast it, and there you go. You see that did 27 damage, while the other guys are only hitting for like 15, which is great. So down he goes, and you can see there also that cost me some energy. All actions cost energy, in truth, but magic will cost you a fair bit more. Now mages use willpower. When they level up, you'll see like how I distribute my stats and stuff. Mages use willpower, which gives them more energy, allowing them to cast more powerful spells and so forth. So anyway, now she can cast that, and now you kind of know what I'm doing when I'm right clicking all this stuff. One kind of hint or tip, if you guys are going to play this game and you want stuff like that, is you want to be able to click and make all of your characters take their actions as quickly as possible in a really difficult fight. You want to go bang, 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 and then be done. And to do that, the best way is to make sure all of like your offensive stuff is in the middle, like as close to the middle as possible, so you don't have to move the cursor around really far. You've only got to go like that. So that's a nice little thing that I found quite early on that was quite fun to do. So right, okay, so now there's lots of different directions to go in. I'm getting a little bit lost. With the game, you can press tab here. So this is where we started, this big chamber here. You can even write notes. So we started here. There you go. And I can always like hover over that to see. So we started here, and then this was the second door, and so forth, so forth. This is where we got the key. This is the room we were just through. So this is kind of how we've winded through. And through this map, you can feel your way through the dungeon. Now, one interesting thing about this game is that you can play with a mode where there is no map, which makes it really hard on lower floors where like things get really complicated. But I always play with the map. Like I couldn't imagine, it just seems so tedious to play without it. But there's kind of this hidden extra little room here. Did I just hit my Skype go off again? Sorry guys. Okay, so we're gonna grab these sandals, put them on lists. We got a little bit more food, a baked maggot, yummy, along with a snail slice. We're not eating very nice food at the moment, are we? You never really eat nice food, to be honest, in this game. We got a loincloth here. Is she wearing a loincloth? Yeah, no, she's got something on her trousers. But Liz is naked, so there we go. You can have a loincloth. The flavor text says, only the most self-confident of warriors can be seen on the battlefield wearing nothing but this garment. It's got a little bit of humour to it. At least it's funny till you're dying. Okay, so there's nothing else in this room. I thought there was going to be a switch on the wall, but there's not. Okay, so we're going to continue along. There was just some extra stuff for us to pick up, thankfully. Now we got this key, a door here, but no key to open it. So we need to go left, if you remember from our map. There's a chain we can pull to open this, or we can keep going further forward. Aha, so now we can get some pit root bread, which looks a lot like cheese to me. I don't know. Doesn't that look like cheese, like wrapped up in cloth or something? So we're going to grab some of that. We're going to grab another rock. I've got so many rocks to throw at people. Lovely. That's how I love to play my games. We're going to pull this chain. And now we get another puzzle. So there's a pit here. Not good. I should probably walk down it to demonstrate to you guys how that goes. We also get a note which says, to close the pit, something needs to fly. Interesting. I'll let you guys try and figure that out while I demonstrate what happens if we try and walk across the pit. So these are a staple of this game. They're all over the place. Now, by dropping down that pit, we've kind of gone down another level, haven't we? So if we press tab, we can actually see we're now on level 2, the old tunnels. Like, they all have different names for the levels. But we're only in a tiny ass little chamber. It's like super separate from the rest of the map. And later on, when you see we go down there, like the rest of the map will fill in around this tiny little chamber. And these little places might confuse you until you remember they're just areas that you get to from the map above. Later on in the game, this gets really complex. Like, you have to deliberately drop down pits to find certain stuff on lower floors to go back up to progress to different areas of the lower floor and so forth. Like, it gets pretty good. Hopefully that excites you guys. Like, it is pretty fun. But we get a note here as well, an extra hint. You can't fly. What can? Should be pretty simple. I hope you guys have figured it out. So, once again, that's to close the pit. Something needs to fly. We've got a pressure pad over there. Well, what can we do? We can throw rocks. Just throw a rock. It bounces off the wall, lands on the pressure pad, closes the pit. So there you go. That's how you do that puzzle there. It's all pretty basic so far. We get the iron key for the door we saw earlier. Now, you might be tempted to take the rock off there. Don't, because obviously you'll then fall in the pit. You could, I suppose, and then you take the damage from falling, but then you can heal back up. Now, if you do want to heal up, you can press R, a bit like the Elder Scrolls or something like that. I've mentioned that twice already. And then you'll be able to regain your stuff. You saw my health go up quite quickly there. As you gain larger health pools, it takes a lot longer, so it's not the most ideal solution. Especially if you're like poisoned or you're in a dangerous area and stuff's going to ambush you while you're trying to rest. It's not always the best thing to do, but you might find yourself doing it a fair amount. But that's a nice way, especially in the earlier levels, just to quickly heal up. Man, I make these into such walkthroughs. All the LPs I watch, right? They're all just really relaxed people, just like joking about and burping and farting on the camera and just doing like ridiculous shit. And then when I come and do it, I'm like, oh, Silver Serious has to be about this, 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 and this. Anyway, so we come into this room. I'm having a little bit of a look around, making sure nothing's here. We've got a scary face here. Interesting. We've also got a gate here. And something that says, heal my sight. Interesting. What could that mean? Well, We shall find out. So, we got a choice, left or right. I usually go right. I don't know whether I have to. I don't think you have to. You're going to have to go down both doorways. But, okay, so first of all, we've got a switch here. There's a snail there, so we can just throw some shit at him for now. There we go. Also, you might have noticed that the lighting's changed a little bit. That's because if you look at the icon for the torch here, the torch is slowly running out. So, torches do run out. I always find it funny when games make torches and they don't run out, and it's like, well, what a waste of a mechanic. You're only ever going to pick up one torch and never use it again. So when that eventually does run out, I'll just drop it and pick up another one, and that's fine. I'm very curious with this game how, like, the torches are always lit and stuff. It makes it kind of ominous. It's like, oh, something could be going on. Something's just been here just before you arrived and lit all the torches as it passed through. And in fact, I'll tell you what, a big part of this game is kind of finding out who has come before you, and that's a really nice kind of feeling for me. I like the idea that there's someone who's just passed through here, who's like fighting the gauntlet, and you know, maybe we're a day or two away and the torches are still burning in their stead, and then you find out the fates of these people, and it's quite sad. Okay, anyway, so we killed that snail there. There's a rock on this pressure pad which we can take off, which of course then is gonna... No? What did this pressure pad do? Ooh, okay, now it's opened it. And now the snail's on it and it didn't close. Okay, that's fine. Let's just smack him about. There we go, through the shuriken. I can't remember whether, like with thrown weapons aren't that good. Like shurikens, rocks, stuff like that. You can spec for them if you are a rogue. You can do it. I tried my very best before, and I've seen on the forums that it doesn't seem like it's very good, so I'm not going to be running like that on this game. But rogues are like the most versatile class. Like, you can do so many different things with a rogue, which is why I've got two. So we can have like a frontliney guy, and we'll have a backliney guy, and hopefully that will please everyone. Really, a rogue you could split into two. You could have like archers and rogues instead, but with this game it blends it all together. So the game's kind of simple in a lot of ways. It's just 3 classes, 4 races, and it gets by with that. You know, it could split them far further, but it doesn't, and I think it really works. So here now, look, we found a scroll on a wall, right, called the Scroll of Fireburst, and we can look at that. It says required skill Fire Magic 2, which Arachnia has because of the way I made the character, and it's just got that image there, and that's what teaches you how to cast spells. It's just got the highlighted image. So then from then, any normal player would then be like, oh, okay, let me try that, and then they do it, and they're like, oh, it worked. That's amazing. So keep your scrolls with you as you play through, because there's a lot of spells. As you can tell, there's probably a lot of combinations you can do with those runes. It depends what type of mage you want to be. In this game, you can't spec for everything. Like, so I'll show you. We got our skills here, right? We've got air magic, earth magic, fire magic, ice magic, spellcraft, staff defense. Like, there's loads. You can't max them all. This isn't that type of game. If you're gonna commit to a line, you commit to that line, and that's kind of it. Like, you can try and spread out and hybridize as much as possible. I don't know whether it's really worth it. I don't know that much, to be honest. But I'm not going to be. I'm probably going to be just mostly a fire mage with a bit of spellcraft thrown in there. But you can make kind of a support. Basically, every class you can do 2 different types. You can do like a really tanky soldier, or a really offensive soldier, or a hybrid, I suppose. You can do like a frontline rogue or a backline rogue, and there's many different ways to do either. And then with I almost said elementalist there, and then with a mage you can do like any kind of different mage, like different types of offense. You can do like attrition offense through earth and poisoning people. You can do big nuke offense, which drains tons of your mana, but you do a big hit straight away, and fire magic. Or you can do like defensive supporty stuff, you know, whatever. There's like loads of different options. Anyway, you can see the torch is starting to flicker now. There's no big penalty for moving around in the dark, except that it's just a little bit annoying. And later, it's kind of difficult to know whether you want to get rid of your torch or not, because frankly, like, I want to have a shield. For example, Chaos, our char, he's going to want a shield at some point, so I'm not going to be able to have the torch on him. I'll probably have it on Arachnia, but then what if she wants a staff at some point, which will help her with the magical powers? Then what do we do? You know, yeah, it's interesting. I like it. There's a lot of choices with this game. Right, okay, so now the gate's shut again, but we'll move. These are weird pressure pads. It's like you tap it once, and depending on the state of the gate, it will move up or down, I think. Actually, I've got to be honest, I don't know 100% sure how this game works. Maybe you need to have no pressure on either, but there you go. So we're locked in. Oh dear, what's going to happen now? Ah, but look. So we have got here a blue gem. Right. That's going to be useful. We don't know why necessarily. Maybe you can figure out why, owing to stuff we saw earlier. But also, we can have a look around in here. And indeed, there is a hidden switch just on the wall here, which we can use to open the gate. But then when we turn on the pressure pad, oh dear, it changes. So we're going to get rid of one of those rocks, leave it on the pressure pad, click that. And now when we turn back on it, it won't press the pressure pad back down, if that makes sense. So now we're okay. And even we can sneakily pick the rock back up from behind us. And voila, there we go. We're free. So there's that. Also, I think... Oh, no. Okay, so we're going to move on. Our second secret's going to come soon. But if you remember, we had the weird face-looking thing. We went left. This time we're going to go right. I don't like this bit coming up. It always freaks me out, because there's going to be new... Like, you don't spend this entire game playing... Oh, there it is. You don't spend this entire time fighting squirrels. Squirrels? You don't spend this entire game playing fighting snails. Okay, so this is our second type of enemy. This weird, fucking, crazy plant dick monster thing. We're going to kill it. And I'm also going to call that episode there. So thanks very much for watching, guys. I will see you again tomorrow for part 3, which is where we finish this floor. So thanks again, and I'll catch you next time.